Assalamu alaikum everyone and a very good afternoon to you all. I'm Sana Maqbool. I will be the MSc for today's event. I'm also the General Manager Corporate Relations, National University of Sciences and Technology in Pakistan. On behalf of the Secretary Board of Investment, I welcome you all to today's seminar on education and innovation in technologies and investment opportunities. This is a hybrid event, and due to new COVID restrictions, we've also made arrangements for our participants to attend through Zoom. We are also streaming this event live online through Zoom and various social media platforms. Let us start today's proceedings with a recitation of the Holy Quran.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن دونهما جنتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان مدهامتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما عينان نضاختان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah. Ladies and gentlemen, we would also like to start our event with a few videos, starting one with tourism.
There is something about Pakistan, something magical. There is something about its peaks, the lakes, the valleys, the deserts, the golden beaches, and the exotic cuisine. It is a land rich in history, standing tall and proud. The remnants of ancient glories serve as reminders of where we came from. In the home of centuries-old civilizations, where natural and man-made wonders are plenty, there's a touch of warmth everywhere you go. The culture befriends every soul, makes you feel at home at every step. It is not a place short of hospitality, not a place far from home. It is a place of love and acceptance, of embracing our differences and celebrating our love, with the government's keen focus on expanding its tourism and hospitality sector. It has made visiting and investing in Pakistan all the more easier. Pakistan now offers e-visa facility to over 170 countries and visa on arrival to the citizens of 50 countries. Invest in the next big tourist destination of the world in sectors such as hospitality, hoteling, accommodation, attraction development. Because in the end, there is just something special about Pakistan. BOI, your gateway to investment in Pakistan.
Indeed, Pakistan is very special. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to a video related to today's event, which is on information technology.
Pakistan has a thriving young population, ready to steer the country to the frontier of economic success. With 2,000 IT companies, more than 300,000 English-speaking IT experts, and 20,000 IT graduates entering the job market each year, Pakistan is poised to take its place as one of the market leaders in IT and its related sectors. Government of Pakistan's Digital Pakistan policy has created an extensive digital ecosystem. The country is overall ranked fourth in the global market for freelance development, earning 1.2 billion US dollars. And Pakistan's IT exports alone have marked a 70% rise in the last 3 years. The startup culture in Pakistan is gaining a strong foothold owing to our young, technologically literate and skilled population.
It's been an honor and a privilege to work with young founders and technology startups as early as 2016 when we conceived the idea. And today, mashallah, we've had the opportunity to work with hundreds of different companies and thousands of young technology founders. It would be pertinent to mention that this is actually a government building. So we're very fortunate to work with the Ministry of IT, the government of Pakistan.
With Pakistan government offering strong incentives for investors in the IT field, the sector is bound to see unprecedented growth in the coming years. These include attractive tax breaks and concessions on IT and IT-enabled services, startups and computer equipment, as well as a host of other incentives. Come and join us in our exciting journey towards innovation by investing in these areas of the Pakistan IT industry. BOI, your doorway to investment in Pakistan.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Secretary, Board of Investment, Ms. Farina Mazhar, has a diverse background of more than 30 years in public service, ranging from the Federal Board of Revenue, Pakistan Electronic Media Regulatory Authority, Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Commerce, and currently with the Board of Investment. I request her to kindly come forward and give her remarks and also deliver a presentation on investment regime and opportunities in Pakistan.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for joining me here today. You took time out of your busy schedule, and some of you especially flew over for this event today, and I'm really, really grateful. It's very nice to be addressing people in person because I think over the last 2 years, I've held over 100 webinars, and they were not as effective as this one physical interaction, which I think is really, really very meaningful. I'd also like to thank the teams who arranged today's event, the Trade Development Authority of Pakistan, and my own team at the Board of Investment who've been working hard for organizing, getting in touch with you, and arranging this event. So I will start. This is a long presentation. I don't want to bore you all. In the first slide, why to invest in Pakistan, the geostrategic location of Pakistan, where it is a hub for the trade, energy, transport corridor with the Central Asian republics, the Middle Eastern countries, the Central Asian republics all the way going to the Europe and then China. And so it projects tremendous opportunities, not just for manufacturing, but also for export and trading activities. The young population, 29 to 15 years to 29, 60% of the population is in that age bracket, where they're all English speaking, very well trained, educated, all set for to be used in different professions. We have good special economic zones. I'll be talking about that later. And we have a very liberal investment policy where free repatriation of profits and dividends is allowed. You can invest in any sector. There's no cap for minimum or maximum amount of investment. And you don't need to have a local partner to do any business in Pakistan. So within the region, I think we have one of the most liberal investment policies in the world. The confidence index in Pakistan, which is like measured every 6 months, shows that there's been a tremendous increase. Around 59%, the Overseas Investment Chambers Commerce and Industry Business Confidence Index rose from a negative score to positive 9%, which is like a 59% increase. And the members' confidence is now increased to 108%. So this reflects the confidence in the government policies and the various initiatives which the government has taken to create an ease of doing business in the country, and also to give different incentives to various sectors in the country. So all sectors open to investment, uniform treatment to all, 100% foreign equity allowed, 100% repatriation allowed, and borrowing facilities from both local and foreign banks is also allowed. Pakistan has signed bilateral investment treaties for the protection of investment with 48 countries. And we also have the avoidance of double taxation agreements with 52 countries. So in case of a dispute, you have the bilateral investment treaties to cover your investment. And so far in the treaties, we are trying to resolve the dispute locally. And for that, we've also made some new additions where the concept of an investment ombudsman is being introduced. So the first point where your dispute, you go for resolving your dispute, is the ombudsman's office, which is, being a neutral person with, which will be responsible for addressing the concerns in the first place. And then you also have an clause to go to the local courts or to the international arbitration also is allowed. In terms of ease of doing business, Pakistan improved 39 positions. I myself have been working on this program for the last 5 years now. I spearhead the team at the Board of Investment. We improved 39 positions in the World Bank's ranking in terms of ease of doing business. For all 10 indicators, we made special reforms. Now you can register a company in Pakistan within less than 4 hours. So we improved 60 positions in that indicator alone. As far as getting construction permits, getting electricity connections, everything is online. The application filing is online, and manual processes have been reduced. And now everything is I personally started this exercise, and I even asked somebody from abroad to start registering the company, and they were all very pleasantly surprised that yes, Pakistan's in terms of starting a business has made tremendous progress. So these are all the priority sectors for us: a young and growing population, expanding middle class, which has an appetite for imported items. Foreign retail and franchise outlets are expanding, and they're making good profits. And every other application that we receive is for opening a grocery store or in something to do with the needs of the local population. There is rapid urbanization. Cities housing population of 10 cities is over 10 million. So it's a country of 220 plus people, where 10 cities are above 10 million each. Pakistan enjoys a natural endowment in agriculture and minerals, and there is a huge potential to improve industrial efficiency through technology transfer. Pakistan has opened all its sectors of economy for foreign investments, and these are a few of the priority sectors in the country where they're offering special incentives to the investors to come and invest. Information technology sector of Pakistan. Pakistan has more than 5,000 IT companies and call centers, and the number is growing every year. Pakistan has more than 300,000 English-speaking IT professionals with expertise in current and emerging IT products and technologies, 15 software technology parks, more than 25,000 IT graduates and engineers are being produced each year, coupled with a rising startup culture. Foreign investors can invest in the mobile app design and development, business design, development and testing, cybersecurity and IT governance, virtualization and computing, system integration, web businesses, and e-commerce. Housing in the construction sector. Pakistan is the fifth most populous country in the world, with 220 million citizens, more than 60 million strong labor force, and a growing middle class. In construction sector, we offer exemption of withholding taxes on purchase of building materials and reduced advance tax on auction of sales. The government of Pakistan has recognized housing and construction as a priority sector, hence has granted construction sector as a status of the industry. There are new fixed tax regime from tax year 2020 and onwards for eligible builders and developers. There is growing demand for houses due to a 2.4% annual population growth rate as per census of 2017. Pakistan's urban unit stands at 20 million and rural housing units stand at 12.19 million. According to the Association of Builders, the pending cases pertaining to construction and housing add up to about 1.1 trillion in US dollars in monetary value. 1.1 trillion rupees in monetary value. Fit solution projects and industry value of rupees 2.7 billion by 2028, representing the potential of the housing and construction industry. Construction sector has been declared as an industry, and with this comes tax reliefs to firms in the industry through the amendments to the income tax ordinance. Textile sector of Pakistan. This is the largest manufacturing industry. Pakistan is the 8th largest exporter of textile commodities in Asia. Textile sector contributes 8.5% to the GDP of Pakistan. In addition, the sector employs about 45% of the total labor force in the country and 38% of the manufacturing workers. Pakistan is the 4th largest producer of cotton, with the 3rd largest spinning capacity in Asia. Pakistan has supply base for almost all man-made and natural yarns and fibers, including cotton and rayon. This abundance of raw material is a big advantage for Pakistan due to its beneficial impact on cost and operational lead time. There are opportunities for investing in ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing, garment stitching. The tourism sector in Pakistan. Pakistan is blessed with deserts, mountains, rivers. Deserts in Pakistan alone make up a large part of the country's geography. There are more than 100 peaks above 7,000 meters altitude in north of Pakistan. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor includes roads, rail links passing through the renowned mountain peaks, glaciers. Pakistan was ranked the best holiday destination for 2020 and was also declared the 3rd highest potential adventure destination in the world for 2020. As security in the country improves, tourism increases. In 2 years, it has increased by more than 300%. The British Backpacker Society ranked Pakistan as the world's top adventure travel destination in 2018, describing the country as one of the friendliest countries on earth with mountain scenery that is beyond anyone's wildest imagination. Pakistan online visa system is now open for the citizens of 191 countries. Moreover, citizens from 65 countries are eligible to apply for visa in your inbox under tourist category, and the citizens from 97 countries are eligible to apply for visa in the inbox under business category. Agriculture and food processing sector. Major sectors of Pakistan's economy are agricultural, industrial, and service sectors, which contribute 19%, 20%, and 61% respectively in the GDP. According to Food and Agriculture Organization, World Atlas 2018, Pakistan is ranked 4th in cotton production, 5th in sugarcane, while 8th and 10th in wheat and rice production, respectively. Pakistan's agriculture sector plays a central role in the economy as it contributes 18.9% to the GDP and absorbs 42.3% of the labor force. It also is an important source of foreign exchange earnings and stimulates growth in other sectors. In agricultural sector, Pakistan reduced rate of customs on import of capital goods, exemption on income tax for the food processing and beverage sector, and concessional rate on custom duties on import of ingredients for the preparation of value-added chicken projects. The opportunities in value-added products are whole milk powder, skimmed milk powder, condensed milk, ice cream, butter, cheese, yogurt, etc. There is a huge potential for setting up processing units for local consumption and exports. Logistics. Located at the crossroads of Central and South Asia, having linkages with resourceful, rich Gulf and Middle Eastern countries, while the People's Republic of China is at western border, Pakistan has huge potential to become a hub for regional transport and trade. As a member of the CAREC program and in accordance with the priorities of the CAREC Transport and Trade Facilitation Strategy 2020, Pakistan is attempting to increase transit traffic with its neighboring countries. The focus of Pakistan's economic corridor is on network of roads, railways, and pipelines between the long-time allies connecting Kashgar city of China with Gwadar port of Pakistan. Investors are invited to explore enormous opportunities arising out of CPAC and consider Pakistan as a springboard to reach Middle Eastern countries and the Asian markets. The electric vehicle policy of Pakistan. The automotive industry in Pakistan is one of the fastest growing industries in the country, growing by 171% between just 2014 and 2018. It accounts for 3% of Pakistan's GDP and employs a workforce 3.5 million people as of 2018. Pakistan is the 35th largest producer of automotives. It has recently launched the electric vehicle policy, for which the benefits are extended to both the existing and the new manufacturers. The general sales tax at sales tax stage is fixed for 2 to 3 wheelers at 1% for 5 years. Electric vehicle parts can be imported at 1% custom duty for 5 years. Import of new EVs in CBU condition is allowed at concessionary rate of 50% duty, and the approved investors can import 100 CBUs with 50% customs duties. In order to provide investors an easy access to relevant information, the Board of Investment has developed a very interactive website. Our website, which is www.invest.gov.pk, regularly updates and can be viewed in 8 different international languages. So the World Bank just discontinued the Ease of Doing Business report, but the Prime Minister's focus on the regulatory reforms is such that he's directed us and other provincial governments that we should continue with all the different indicators and continue our improvement effort there. So Pakistan is now working on an agenda of reforms where all 4 provincial governments and the central government are making immense effort to reduce the regulatory burden on businesses. The end result of this reform program is going to be in June 2023, which will be a one-stop shop facility where all the NOCs, licenses, regimes, everything will be available on the portal, and all that you will have to do is access the portal. We also have an incentives database of the priority sectors. All incentives that the government offers in different sectors are available on our website. And along with that, we have a projects database in which we have information regarding 60 different projects to be offered by the government of Pakistan in different sectors. So this is the regulatory guillotine. I won't go into the details. The idea is to create a business-friendly climate for the SME sectors, especially, and then also for big businesses. So we are following a massive reform agenda, and this is just a detail of how many reforms have been completed and what next is going to come. The special economic zones regime in Pakistan is very attractive. At the moment, we have the SEZ Act 2012, but the first special economic zone was approved in 2016 when certain amendments were made to the act and the incentives were liberalized. So for now, it's a custom duty exemption on all the plant and machinery which you import for the first time. Then there is a 10-year tax holiday, both for the developer and also for people doing business inside the special economic zones. And also all the infrastructure related gas, electricity, roads, water, all facilities are to be provided by the federal government. And at present, we have 22 special economic zones that are working in different provincial governments, federal and provincial governments. We also have 3 special economic zones approved under the CPAC, but the CPAC special economic zones are not just limited to the Chinese companies. Any investor from any part of the world and also local businesses can come and invest in those special economic zones, and they have the same incentives as any other economic zone. So CPAC economic zones are not, they do not enjoy any special exemptions or benefits other than the regulatory zones. It's just that the Chinese government will be supportive of these zones as it will encourage businesses to come and invest there. But other than that, there is no difference between a CPAC, SEZ, and a regular SEZ. So we are home to around 1,000 multinationals. I was just having a word with my colleagues who are doing some business already in Pakistan. And I think whoever comes to Pakistan makes good profits and enjoys his stay and with the lovely nature, the lovely endowments which the nature has bestowed on the country. We've been obviously lacking some energy and also had been facing security issues for a considerable time, for which not many investors look towards Pakistan. But now that I can assure you that the situation, both of energy and the security situation, have improved tremendously. And so I just invite you all to come and invest in Pakistan. And the Board of Investment is going to be your first point of contact. So any issue, any facilitation that you need from any department of the federal or the provincial governments, we'll be there to assist you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for that detailed presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, multinational companies from different sectors are expressing a keen interest to invest in Pakistan, as you have seen in the previous presentation. Our sizable young population also holds great untapped potential for any investor, and we are confident to see the keen interest from different companies transforming into tangible investments. I will now welcome Mr. Abdul Rahim, who's the Director General, Special Technology Zones Authority, Pakistan, for his presentation.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. My name is Abdul Rahim Ahmed. I'm the Chief Information Officer of the Special Technology Zones Authority based out of Islamabad. So just following up on the excellent presentation by Madam Farina, so I'll just move into and focus now on the technology opportunity in Pakistan. So just briefly, to talk about the knowledge ecosystem and what's most of the countries globally have done. And it's what Pakistan is now doing in the technology sector is setting up technology ecosystems. And as we have seen globally across the globe, the ecosystem can only establish once you have both the academia, the industry, the government, and now to add on to the startups, the incubation center, etc. So they all have to come together, collaborate, create close linkages, and that's how you drive innovation and foster R&D in a particular zone. This is the example of South Korea. Samsung Village is here. Samsung was born out of here. South Korea today has more than $500 billion of exports. And this is an example of a technology and innovation cluster. And you can see how this is over time grown. So we've had the Innopolis, which is the Science and Technology Park, and the main city, as well as the technology villages coming through. So it's become a massive Innopolis, which results in both innovation, R&D, and technology exports for South Korea. This is another example of the Surrey Research Park. And again, the concept about knowledge ecosystems are they usually thrive around the universities and or higher education institutes, and where you bring in the industry, the incubation centers to work closely together. So these concepts are based on the triple helix model. So you've got the industry, which is the major employer. You've got the academia, which provides the talent, and which you've got the government to facilitate both the regulatory and the operational support in this model. And hence, working together closely results in job creation, in export, in R&D. As I mentioned, the STZs are typically around the higher education institutes, and the reason being that it's extremely important that the industry works closely with the universities in defining the curriculum and making sure that the supply side of the talent comes out, which is basically linked to the technical skills required by the industry. So as we all know, the Silicon Valley was born out of the Stanford University entrepreneurship ecosystem. It's still the biggest knowledge ecosystem globally, which was followed up by the MIT entrepreneur system. China followed suit and created the Tsinghua University ecosystem. Stanford entrepreneurship ecosystem alone has close to 40,000 businesses and $2.7 trillion in revenues. Similarly, China's Tsinghua University is, has created 125,000 jobs and close to now home to 3,000 businesses. This is very quickly an example of one of the most successful parks. This is called the Z Park, and it produces revenue in excess of $726 billion just out of this zone. It has about 24,000 technology and IT companies working, and it's as ranked by Forbes has taken over the Silicon Valley in terms of the knowledge ecosystem. So I'll quickly touch upon some of the stats have been covered by the Secretary BOI. So I'll skip on, moving on. Just talk about, if you look at these key stats around the stock market, the competitive index, exports, remittances, etc. So all are going in the right direction, moving forward. So all these, as well as the growth in per capita income, the growth in the industrial sector, as well as the agri sector. High-tech exports are also on rise, as well as the manufacturing side for Pakistan. Last year, we had about $309 million of exports in high-tech. Ease of doing business, we've talked about. Just move on. So in terms of the connectivity and the connectivity infrastructure, you can see the Pakistan is home. The youth population is 1/3. Population is youth. We have over 100 million broadband users. The connectivity infrastructure continues to improve. Over 61 million internet users and about 35% growth in broadband. The startup ecosystem, as we all know, is growing very rapidly as a result of the reforms led by the government, especially by the State Bank of Pakistan and the Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. This year alone, foreign investments by VCs have crossed $300 million, which is over the combined last 5 year sum. These are some of the names across all sectors. So fintech, agri-tech, logistics, all these sectors continue to thrive and attracting a lot of investments. These are some of the names, as you can see, some of the global VCs. They've already invested and continue to invest, and this number will definitely grow by leaps and bounds in the next couple of years. So the idea was to talk about the knowledge ecosystem and also set the context of what's happening in Pakistan economically, in the technology sector, in the startups ecosystem with VCs, etc. And hence, as a result, the government of Pakistan last year had in December set up the Special Technology Zones Authority, and the mandate is to create special technology zones across the country. And the idea is to attract both domestic and international investments, as well as attract companies to expand their operations out of the tech zones. The vision is very clear. As we know, the knowledge ecosystems result in socio-economic development for any country, and the idea is through the authority, this vision will be achieved for Pakistan. Like I mentioned, the mission is to set up world-class technology destinations, technology sector, technology zones across Pakistan. These are some of the, we've got 7 KPIs, and this is how we measure against ourselves, as well as publish these KPIs. So technology transfer, human capital, job creation, tech exports, R&D, investments, foreign, local. So any company coming into the tech zone, these are the 7 KPIs we measure in terms of evaluating before granting them an approval or license to come and operate in the technology zone in Pakistan. A one-window facility is being set up again to provide the operation support in dealing with different government departments. So the interaction to make sure that ease of doing business is provided, as well as any issues which are there are dealt by the authority, and the companies get this facilitation on the ground. This is a quick snapshot. December, the ordinance was promulgated. The Islamabad Tech Zone was announced. The act was passed in October this year, which you can see. The first tech zone, Islamabad, is already announced, with many more in the pipeline. In terms of the incentives, so there are fiscal incentives. We'll just quickly talk about forex regulations for free flowing of capital, the one-window facility, the tech infrastructure, as well as the overall ecosystem from a tech community perspective. So for all entities, both the zone developers and zone enterprises, so all taxes are waived off for a period of 10 years. This includes the income tax, the taxes on customs, import tax, as well as property tax, turnover tax. For VCs and investors, any tax on capital gain and dividend income, they're also waived off for a period of 10 years. This is a quick snapshot on the R&D. So we saw a lot of multinational companies. They work in Pakistan, but the spend on the R&D is very, very, very small. So if you look at this year alone, about $2.4 trillion will be invested in the R&D globally. So what we are looking at, even if we capture 0.1% of that, that results in $2.4 billion of investment. And R&D, as I said previously, is very, very critical for developing knowledge ecosystems. These are the stats for R&D for some of the global names. The other focus area for us is human capital development. So now it's predicted that every 5 years, the skills you know will change very rapidly, and hence globally in the technology sector, there's already a risk on the skill shortage. So it's a very, very key, big area for us to transform the youth population into when we impart them with high-tech skills. There's also focus. So one is the main cities, which will be the first ones where the technology zones will be announced, which will be followed by announcements in the rural sector as well. Both, like I mentioned, with the connectivity infrastructure improving across Pakistan, the idea will be to also loop in the rural sector and have technology hubs and zones established. Islamabad is the flagship technology zone. It's already announced. We've already got companies coming in. We've already started giving the first set of approvals for companies to come in the Islamabad. So this is about 140 acres land and prime land in Islamabad, close to the city, and it's already open for business. This is the master plan out for the Islamabad tech zone. The idea is, someone was asking earlier how many, so we're targeting about 14 tech zones by 30th June 2022, next year. So I'll just conclude by saying time is now. Technology is disrupting every sector. Pakistan presents an excellent opportunity, both from a supply side perspective and now with the government creating special laws. The legislation is already passed. I think it's the right time to invest in the technology sector and for companies to look and expand their operations. Pakistan is also the third largest English-speaking population in the world, as well as now is ranked third or fourth globally with respect to freelancers operating in different sectors, obviously using IT as a base. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very important for educational institutions of developing countries like Pakistan to have a strong relationship with the industry, and that research conducted by our talented students and in the academia is directly linked with the requirements of the industry to get maximum output. To achieve this important linkage, NUST continues to enhance its research potential and is proud to develop some of the most remarkable technologies and solutions ever produced by the academia in Pakistan. I would now like to invite Pro-Rector, National University of Sciences and Technology, Dr. Rizwan Riaz, for his presentation on innovation and entrepreneurship and the possible collaboration avenues with industrial partners.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon still. I do represent a university, so there will be a quiz at the end of this presentation. I want to talk about something very important. What I've been led into in this presentation is all the facilities that the government is making through the technology zones and etc. Well, here's the practical output of some of that. A brief introduction. I'm an engineer by academic background, a researcher by passion, and I've been fighting the battle to bring out applied research from the universities for industrial linkages for the past 7-8 years. As have been previously mentioned, Asia itself and Pakistan right now are at a rise. If we look at just Asia, and I'm sure you're familiar with all of these specs, but as I said, I have to put something in there so that I can ask you in the quiz. So all these numbers just tell you this is the area to focus on. And of them, the Pakistani startup ecosystem is right now at the verge of booming. Why? Because, well, sorry, before I go into that, let's look at a blurb from somebody who actually knows about it rather than a university professor. So people are looking at Pakistan in specifics to the startup ecoculture. Why? Because the Pakistan middle class is growing very, very rapidly right now, and it's a very young population, as already mentioned. Lots of people using a lot of cellular phones and a lot of mobile technology becoming very common amongst our population, which includes about 290,000 graduates every year coming out of all these universities in Pakistan. And since it's always innovation coming out of universities which make the big bucks, this is where all the innovation and entrepreneurship opportunities exist. At least that's what we feel. So if you look at the history of incubation and the startups in Pakistan, NUST actually started the first incubation center in 2005. And right now, in the next few years, suddenly there's a boom. And you have 700 startups, 24 incubators, parks, IT parks coming up all over the place, technology zones coming up, SEZs being established, all because of these youngsters who are coming out with brilliant ideas and opportunities to do stuff. As already mentioned earlier also, the VC funding in Pakistan is growing tremendously fast. Just to give you an example, in the last 3 days, I've been dealing with 3 international companies who want to invest in NUST alone. So the rapid pace at which the investment is suddenly coming towards Pakistan is amazing. Of course, these numbers speak for themselves. More data for the quiz. Therefore, NUST decided to create the first science and technology park in Pakistan, the first multidisciplinary science and technology park. It was established by the Pakistan's top university. NUST, I will brag about it in a few slides after this. NUST is by far the best technical university in the country, so let me give it a brief introduction. It's Pakistan's #1 university in QS rankings. It's also #1 in Pakistan in THE impact ranking. It's globally ranked 358, that's about 27%, in the top 27%. It has a 4 to 5% acceptance rate, which means it's harder to get into NUST than it is to get into Harvard or Yale. That tells you the quality of the student that's coming to NUST. Interestingly, being a STEM university, it's still 30% women coming into NUST. I think I have a timer on this, my bad. So all the students that come into NUST come through an admissions system which is 100% merit. Our own test, so therefore we judge our own students, and if you get 30% women in a STEM university, that's doing a lot. And then the startups, 17% of our startups are led by women, and this number is growing very rapidly, in fact. I think this number has already grown. NUST is unique in having some facilities which are only available in Pakistan. In NUST, for example, supercomputing, the only supercomputer of the country, real supercomputer. And therefore, the students in NUST, who are already the top, with these facilities, can do tremendous things. We recently created an interdisciplinary cluster to bring together all these disciplines in one building and try to generate more ideas, because anything that comes out today is interdisciplinary. Some ideas about that. And therefore, lots of innovation being licensed out to industry and actual practical work being done by our students, linking up, our faculty linking up with industry and solving problems of our industry. We are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Recently, NUST became the only center in the country which can make cardiac stents and catheter balloons. Which is also, I think we are the 8th country in the world or something like that. And NUST has this technology which we imported from Germany, developed, did our own R&D on it, expanded on it, and this center is now producing, we recently got clearance from our Drug Regulatory Authority to start selling them. So, coming back to the topic of innovation and entrepreneurship, our incubation setup was set up in 2005. We have one of the oldest and one of the biggest incubation setups even now. 85 graduated companies, 16% female-led, as I mentioned. The numbers in terms of dollars are very low, but these numbers are already being overpassed this year. So hopefully we'll see something special. Which brings us to the Science and Technology Park. When we saw all that success, we decided, okay, we need to have a place where this actually works. So what is our Science and Technology Park? It is the only place where you have multidisciplinarity, 8 different themes which basically cover everything. So unlike the other IT parks, this is the one park which can do everything. 100-odd firms comprising of 7 anchors and about 30-something high-tech SMEs. It's also the first high-tech special economic zone. Ma'am mentioned this earlier. In Islamabad, this is the special economic zone. And our companies and startups, everybody enjoys those benefits. Right now, we are expanding this. So this is a direct investment opportunity. If you want to invest in startups, if you want to invest in innovation, entrepreneurship at the root level, this is the place. We plan to have about 5 to 8 towers, 220,000 plus minus. This is one design that we have. And we have about 57, 58 acres of land available inside the campus for this Science and Technology Park under the Special Economic Zone benefits. So a very good opportunity. The park itself is very well established now, even though it's only 2 years old. It has a lot of international partnership, has done well in making its space in this community. Lots of international partnerships. It has already created about 1,000 jobs, internships, of course, R&D linkages with the university. Lots of funds raised by the residents. I know this is outdated because somebody was telling me a lot of bigger numbers this year. And just to tell you that it's not just a park in Pakistan. The park actually took part in lots of competitions, as you saw in the linkages. And in one, it came up in the top 10 global finalists for creating a bridge between industry and academia, the software and the technology that they're using. So it's an excellent park, and it has been recognized internationally in UAE right now. Our park is giving the incubation and startup education to the Badiri Education and Development Academy. So please connect with us. Many ways you can build a building, or you can invest in a startup. You can invest in research. Come and be our mentor. Talk to our startups. Every single method is available and open, and we'll be welcoming any access in this. And for the true investor in the audience here, here's a picture of the Special Economic Zone land. A lot of land available. Please come and build infrastructure. Please help us create more zones like this. Take part in the innovation, entrepreneurship ecosystem, and hopefully gain as much out of it as we hope to gain out of this. Thank you very much, and I would love to host you all in Islamabad. So, easy quiz. Who has been to Islamabad? Okay, so how many of you have actually ever heard of NUST before? All right, so all of you are now cordially invited to NUST. Please come and visit us, see this thing for yourself, and from the base of NUST, understand the capability of the Pakistani academia, the universities, and the startup culture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you wish to connect with us, which I'm sure you would after this presentation, we have our brochures and booklets on the table on the side. Please do grab one on your way back. Information technology has assumed an enabling role in the emerging dynamics of a knowledge society and knowledge economy. It is a key lever of economic development. Pakistan's IT sector has a promising future, brimming with talent and with the potential to become the largest export industry of the country. I now invite Mr. Anwar Khan, CEO Evamp & Sangha, leading software development firm, for sharing his experience and highlighting Pakistan's potential and opportunities.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. The presentation that I prepared, most of it has already been covered by the honorable ladies and gentlemen who are presenting before me, but I still would like to take you through the entire presentation, and hopefully I won't bore you. Okay, so I'll just get this working first. Okay, so in context of everything that's been said so far, it's important to understand that Pakistan actually, for us, has two opportunities. The first one, of course, is all the infrastructure that it has, the human capital that we have, and of course, a good sort of solid educational system. All of that put together gives us a great opportunity to build a team that provides IT-enabled services for our customers who are mostly outside of Pakistan. This is also an opportunity for a lot of our customers that have been considering setting up an office for themselves in Pakistan. The other facet of it, of course, is the market itself. So as a company, when we started growing, when we started up, we found a massive business opportunity for providing our services to companies in Pakistan. Luckily, it was back when the telecom boom had just kicked off. And of course, by virtue of that, the telecom industry became our largest customer. And we learned a lot from our experience in Pakistan that we then exported out to a lot of countries in the Middle East as well as Africa and Central Asia. So here's just a quick opportunity. Here's a long explanation to the title that I have, which is Built in Pakistan and also Built from Pakistan. This is just a quick slide about us. We are about 20 years old now. We have been working very, very busily, not just in Pakistan, but also in the region since then, delivering about 400 odd projects. We employ about 220 people. We have both our offices in Islamabad. One of them is actually at the NSTP. And we are delivering projects in over 10 countries today. We are also certified, and I'll tell you the reason for me to mention this right now up ahead. Okay, so this I've already summarized. Pakistan is absolutely a great platform to actually host an IT services business. We have the manpower there, we have the infrastructure there, and more, the government has been supporting the growth of companies like ours over the past at least 15 years. Pakistan also is, of course, as mentioned earlier, a population of 220 million people. And this, of course, means that it's a very large market for businesses, and which means that it's a large market for us. So a lot more of the brand names that are in Pakistan were mentioned in an earlier presentation. But these are just a few companies that I wanted to bring up because these are all very familiar brand names and they're all big engineering and technology companies. All of them have been in Pakistan for a long time. The ones right at the top have been in Pakistan for over 50 years. All of these companies have also not just leveraged Pakistan as a country to build their business revenue from, but also to develop their business from. So whether it's manpower or whether it is servicing other parts of their opcos in other parts of the world, it's Pakistan that they're doing this from. So here's another snapshot. All of those who have been here since the start have seen these figures earlier as well, but I'll just quickly breeze through them for the people who have just arrived. So we have a 220 million strong population in Pakistan. The big figures are right under that. So 75% of the population is under 45, the age of 45. And the figure I think is not here, but yes, so 50% of the population is under the age of 25. That means Pakistan is actually a massive opportunity for bringing in technology to serve the country. Almost half the population is English speaking. We have excellent universities. And another key statistic for those who are here to look at Pakistan or consider Pakistan for technology is that we have 181 mobile users. And these are all young, early adopters of technology. They're all technology-friendly people. This is really the segment that everyone sort of yearns to go and capture when they set up a technology product. Okay, so if you're looking to build from Pakistan, what can you take advantage of? Everything that's been said so far. So there's great infrastructure. I think the setup of special technology zones is going to be another big one for everyone looking to set up in Pakistan. We have multiple connectivity for internet, so there's plenty of redundancy available now. We have excellent human capital, and the human capital for technology is growing. So there was a point where maybe a decade ago we saw IT graduates slowing down, the number of graduates coming out with IT degrees slowing down. We see it on a very serious uptick again, which is great for us. On the corporate side, Pakistan is an extremely fair country, I think, to deal with. We have very, very clear and very simple ownership rules by the government. Repatriation is extremely simple. It's very clear. And of course, the entire segment in terms of the legal setup, the law, also in terms of the taxation system, they're all maturing extremely fast. The ecosystem, of course, is also great. So we have institutions like the Board of Investment that will bring you in. They'll help you set up very quickly. And before you know it, you'll be in the hands of another organization that I'd like to mention, which is the Pakistan Software Export Board. And they're also a great team of people who are out there to actually help IT companies mature and grow their business in Pakistan. Incubators were also mentioned earlier. This is another great factor that is creating all this impetus and excitement in the technology sector in Pakistan. Okay, so this number, you've seen this earlier as well. This is a big number. It keeps us all very excited. $297 million raised in funding by technology startups in 2021. And I think this is a great feat. The number may look small, but as mentioned earlier, this number is approximately, it's approximately, sorry, how much is it? More than the last 5 years combined. Sorry, thank you. The year also closed very well for IT companies, IT services companies like ours. So we closed the year at about $2.1 billion in exports. This is the official figure. My personal reading of the number, the actual number over here is probably close to about $6 billion. And the reason for that is that a lot of companies that are invoicing out of, for example, New York or London or Dubai, are only sending back the funds that they need to actually run their operations in Pakistan. So essentially, Pakistan is a cost center and the development center, and the revenue is actually being collected elsewhere. So if you look at the total amount of value, I think a fair estimate would be about $6 billion in all. 30% of that revenue is coming from software development, and a close second is from basically back office operations, so commonly known as BPO. This has been a very strong sector. It's been slightly understated, but it's a great sector, and it's flourishing very well in Pakistan. So why build in Pakistan? There are many reasons for this. As we mentioned, there's a large population of young people. They're out there. They're early adopters of technology, which means that everybody has to start catering to them, including the government, which I've listed right at the end. But it's extremely important, and the government is doing a lot to actually set up, IT-based access to services. The government has set up great tools that are now monitoring things like revenue and taxation, and of course, overall efficiency. So all of this, the benefit, of course, is the young population that is technology friendly. What the government needs are also great products and solutions from all over the world that can come in and help them perform their best. There are other untapped and unsaturated markets as well in Pakistan. Agriculture is a big one. Agriculture till date is still very mechanized. There's very little technology over there. And I think very soon for companies that are looking into IoT for agri-tech or other agri-tech businesses, Pakistan, I think, is a massive opportunity. The industrial sector was also mentioned earlier on. Massive industry for Pakistan, the industrial, the construction, the industrial sector, again, has been slightly slow at adopting technology, but we see a lot of movement over there as well. Health and education have really been making great strides over the past decade or so, but I think the past 2 years with COVID, we've seen a lot of changes and a lot of great things happening on that side as well. Construction and power sector are slightly lagging behind, and that's another area where I believe that the opportunity for technology to come in and change things is really great. Okay, so this is just a summary of, I think, the last 3 presentations and all. Infrastructure, we have operational readiness, and we have a great policy framework that is continuously being improved. So these are really, the reasons why you should be in Pakistan. And the biggest reason follows, which is something that Bloomberg reported last month. The startup fever in Pakistan is growing, is catching up, and they call this the world's last big untapped nation. I believe that to be true, not just for the startups in Pakistan, as well as the other industries that I've mentioned. There's great opportunity there. Pakistan is actually a very easy country to work in and an extremely friendly country to work in. I think as you've been extended the invitation by Dr. Riaz, I would second that anytime and invite you all to Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan's IT industry has also achieved robust growth and serves as the world's largest entities among its regular clients. Pakistan's IT industry now has a mature ecosystem that can serve the needs of global entities amongst the lowest of cost, nearly 70% lower than development markets such as North America. I will now invite Mr. Robert, Solution Architect Middle East and Africa, Lenovo UAE, for his presentation on innovation and knowledge economy.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Lumonchik. I work as a technical solution architect for Lenovo, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to tell you more about Lenovo and the solutions we provide for the market. Now, over the course of last few years, I have been meeting many customers. And one of the topics that continuously comes back is the digital transformation. And I always felt very confident talking about transformation because Lenovo has a continuous transformation as a part of our heritage. We started in 1984 as a company called Legend in China and transformed into Lenovo in 1994. Then we managed to start building our own personal computers and reached 30% market share in China. Another transformation happened. In 2004, Lenovo purchased the PC business from IBM. I was in IBM at the time. A lot of my friends moved to Lenovo. Lenovo was very bold in the statements they provided. They said they want to be the largest PC manufacturer in the world, and they managed to achieve it. So in 2014, there was a time for another transformation. Lenovo purchased 2 large companies. One was the Motorola, and the other one was System X business from IBM, which is how I became part of the Lenovo as a part of this transformation. Now in 2019, Lenovo announced 3 strategies: smart verticals, smart infrastructure, and smart IoT. So another huge shift in our way how we approach our customers, going from being product-centric towards providing the solutions. Now, our purposeful innovation and design has been recognized all around the world. Here is a snapshot of a couple of awards we have received over the last few years that are not only for the design of our products, but also for the things like the edge computing for the telco industries we received in the Mobile World Congress. Also things like a design itself recognized by the IEF award has been mentioned.
Now, when I mention solution, what do I mean by that? So let me give you a few examples that covers this. So when we look at the smart manufacturing, there was a company that was a steel producer, and they were using predictions to establish the situation on the supply chain. So they wanted to avoid having oversupply or undersupply coming to their factories. The success rate wasn't really great. It was around 46%. So they discussed with Lenovo, and we provided them our big data solution, which helped them to improve the predictability to 91%. It significantly changes how they can operate and improve the profitability. When we talk about smarter industry, example I would like to mention is the petrochemical industry and one company in Asia. They were using approximately 1,000 different data points throughout the process. Now, in certain parts of the process, they were relying on the field engineers in giving them feedbacks on the temperatures and pressures they are working with. With the implementation of the smart IoT solution combined with the big data, they managed to improve their profitability by $10 million a year. Another one, which is very interesting to talk about, is smart retail. It can start from very simple things, like having an intelligent shelf, which is a shelf. When you take something from it, there is a display that gives you information about the product you are holding. Going to an intelligent cashier, that instead of scanning the barcode to get the price for it, you just put everything in a tray, and 3D camera and 3D scanner scans it and gives you the total price for your purchase. Or having a completely autonomous shop like we have in Beijing, where you enter, you are recognized by face, you take whatever you want, and then you just leave. Everything has been recognized, all the products you took, and you are billed to your mobile account. We also have our Edge Smart solutions in Belgium with a customer that owns more than 800 shops. What they needed was the integration of the existing traditional applications they were using with the smart IoT applications. So they used our Edge infrastructure for each individual shop to give them this ability to combine old with the new ones. Now, smart workplace is a very hot topic these days. People are changing the way they work. We used to work from office and then go to home. Now the situation changed. We are working in many cases mostly from home and go time to office. When we did the survey, a huge amount of people will continue in this pattern, spending 2-3 days in a week in the office and the rest of them working from the home. So what they are asking for is a simple way how to book their space. If I decide to go to office, I want to have a real-time overview which seats are available for the day which I am going in. I want to have ability to book my parking space when I'm going to office so that I conveniently can park my car. And of course, they want to have the ability to find their colleagues and, for example, book a meeting rooms or the seats next to them so they can smartly collaborate. But there is the other way how to look at it. The facility managers want to have an overview, how the seats are operated, which are the seats that are used most and which are the seats that are used the least. So they can, for example, discover, oh, this seat hasn't been used because there might be some AC issue, too much AC blowing to that space, people are not using it. Or they want to have an overview, which seats actually will be allocated considering the COVID policies. We need to make sure that people keep social distancing, so we allow only certain seats and seats are not. And if someone was sitting on the place, we can immediately dispatch cleaning service to prepare the seat for someone else to come and sit in a safe environment. So this is another example of solutions Lenovo can provide to you. Now, smarter education, very interesting topic. Mostly focused on using the VR solutions, comes preloaded with the curriculum mapped classes, mostly on the STEM topics that really allows the students the immersive studying experiences. Now, smarter healthcare. The cancer research is very important for all of us. And Lenovo is using the combination of artificial intelligence with augmented reality. Our technology called simultaneous location and mapping technology basically allows doctor to take a picture, take a previous picture, and artificial intelligence creates overlay that is sent as a picture to doctor wearing the augmented reality glasses. So he can clearly see and distinguish between the diseased and disease-free tissues. Smart cities. City of Bogota in Colombia. This city asked for help with their smart city solution. They were using thousands of cameras and smart sensors to create public safety, or improvements in public safety and traffic congestions. What they needed for was a centralized location where they can host everything and manage as a single unit. Lenovo provided them with the edge infrastructure that allowed them to achieve this goal. Now, we are in Expo, so I can't leave without mentioning sustainability. Now, for Lenovo, this is a very important topic. And if you looked at the whole life cycle, we start with the innovative packaging, using more biomaterials like bamboo, creating smaller packages that are easier to transport and leaving lower carbon footprint. We also do the closing the loop. When the product is finished using, we do the recycling of the materials, but not only the products, but also the accessories. And of course, we came with something called low temperature soldering, which is using lower temperatures, creates more reliable products, and of course, conserves the energy as in the process. We consider this so important that we give it freely to industry to be used and utilized because we recognize it as very significant improvements in the CO2 reduction. And of course, thing that only Lenovo can provide is the CO2 offset. Whenever you do the IT equipment purchase, you are leaving CO2 footstep, either with transportation, manufacturing, and then using the device. A lot of company has the zero carbon goals or reducing their carbon footprint as their mission. Lenovo can help you with this because we will actively buy in form of credit the CO2 footprint you are leaving. So you end up buying, utilizing the equipment without leaving any CO2 footsteps with you. Now, this has been recognized by the industry. Of course, we are among the 100 most sustainable industries, and we are ranked on AA ranking on the sustainability index. Oh, that was fast. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have questions, please feel free to approach us.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to the aviation industry, which is one of the key developing industries of Pakistan. With Pakistan exporting trainer aircrafts, there are increasing opportunities for investment in maintenance and aircraft overhauling. We will be talking about the aviation industry with Mr. Tanveer Ahmed, CEO MRO Aviation. But before that, we are also going to be talking about the modern packaging in Pakistan, which of course is a prosperous concept and provides an excellent opportunity for businesses to avail as the government attaches high priority to environment-friendly innovations in packaging. I will now invite Mr. Peter Huagard, who's the Managing Director, Ecoline, Sweden, to share his experience in Pakistan and highlight innovations in modern packaging.
Thank you so much. We spent so much time trying to get my pronunciation right. The last name.
Did I do well?
I will talk about that much later. Thank you very much for inviting me. First of all, I must say it's been a pleasure to cooperate with all of you when it comes to our investment, which has already taken place. I mean, we're talking about investments going to happen, and the beauty of investing into Pakistan, we are living proof, which should give us a little bit of applause. Thank you. I will try not to tell you what a vibrant country Pakistan. I will not tell you about the 220 million people living there. I will not tell you that Pakistan is the 5th largest consumer of dairy product, because that has already been told. Anyway, I will tell you why we as a company has decided, and hopefully after this meeting will continue to invest into Pakistan, because we need to have a global approach. Can you still hear me even though I'm moving around? Okay, thank you. We know that globalization is inevitable. It will not stop. We cannot build borders. We cannot try to stop globalization. It will happen. The two biggest... Okay. Okay, I thought that you were following me, but anyway, I was hoping. Anyway, so where does the growth happen, and where does actually export happen from? In our case, it's in Middle East and Africa, and also Asia Pacific. If a country cannot export goods, it will inevitably export people. And this is just a truth. It's not me, it is a truth. We have decided to set up a regional hub in Lahore, Pakistan. I will tell you much more about our plans for this, but before I do that, just let me tell you who are we. We are Ecolean, and we were established back in 1996. We're from Sweden. A lot of global manufacturing companies come from Sweden. We are one of the absolutely fastest growing. We have an owner family with a long-term knowledge, and they really know the packaging industry. We have been global since 1996. Our head office is in Helsingborg, which is in the very southern part of Sweden. We have 15 sales offices at this moment. We are going to open at least 2 more the next year. We have 3 production plants. The most modern, the best, is in Lahore. Not according to us, but according to head office. And we have commercial activities in more than 30 markets. And we make approximately 4 billion packs in 2021. We have a much lighter approach to packaging. I think it was you who spoke about packaging and how light it can be. Our packaging is much lighter than any other solution. Traditionally, we have gone from glass bottles to different carton-based bottles to PET bottles, etc., etc. But we have a totally different approach. It's called Ecolean. This contains 35% chalk, and that is to reduce the content of plastic. Hence, our packaging is approximately 50 to 60% of the weight of a normal packaging. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is so important when it comes to transportation, when it comes to logistics, etc., etc., etc. We work with some of the greatest brands in the world. We work with the likes of Coca-Cola, we work with Pepsi-Cola, we work with 9 out of the 10 biggest dairy companies in China. 9 out of the 10 are using the Ecolean solution, which is proof of concept. We work with companies basically all over the world. And in Pakistan, we work with companies such as Fauji Foods. We work with Friesland Campina, we work with Sapphire, we work with Prema, and there are a lot of other major players who we are right now discussing and having very interesting discussions with. One of the key aspects of our business model is sustainability. We don't talk about sustainability. We are sustainability. We all know this. All of us here, if we don't start addressing sustainability seriously, we will have a major problem. Not for ourselves, but for our children and our grandchildren. Sustainability will be one of the deciding factors for all lines of business, not only the packaging. We have been recognized as one of the leading sustainability companies in the world. We are top 1% of 75,000 assessed companies by an individual organization called EcoVadis. We are living sustainability. We work with 100% renewable electricity globally. That goes for both Pakistan and China, and of course also in Sweden. So, Ecolean investment in Pakistan. 2015, the decision was taken. 2016, we bought 26,000 square meters of land in Sundar Industrial Park. We set up the factory in 2017, and in 2019, we started our commercial production. And since then, we have already produced more than 2 billion packs in Pakistan. The interesting thing right now for us is, of course, Pakistan itself, with this enormously young population, growing population, etc., etc. But what we have also decided to focus on is exports. The quality that comes out from our packaging plant in Pakistan is unprecedented. It's better than anywhere else. Hence, we are now exporting to China. We're exporting to South Korea, and we have started very recently to export into Japan. And whoever has tried to export to Japan, how many has tried to export to Japan? No one? I can tell you how difficult it is. It's very difficult. Not legislation or anything, but the demands they have on quality is the highest. Hence, we are very proud that we are also now able to invest into Japan. And there is more to come. At this point of time, head office in Helsingborg is considering where to put the next enhancement of production facility. We need to increase our total output, and hopefully, with the help of Farina and your team, this should happen in Pakistan. Or what do you say, Farina? Definitely. Was it? That was convincing, actually. Thank you very much. No, we would love to continue to invest in Pakistan, of course, rather there than in China or in Sweden. So, fingers crossed. We are also building a regional hub in Pakistan, not only for the manufacturing plant, but we are now starting to hire skilled staff within sales, within marketing, technical service, everything that can be supported from Pakistan rather than from Sweden. So this is our next step, is to start increasing the number of skilled colleagues in Lahore. This is one of my big projects personally, because I think we have so much expertise that we could bring into Ecolean Pakistan, which could be benefited from in the whole region. I will not tell you so much about these cases. This is just one of the cases we just recently did. I told you about Japan. They are very difficult prints to be produced. We managed very well. We do it also in South Korea. We do it in Vietnam, where we just right now see fantastic growth of our business. Actually, we are up to 130% in Vietnam since over 2020. We are almost 100% growth in South Korea. And what is it we need? We need stability. We need predictability. We need to make sure that what we are knowing right now can be relied on for the couple of years to come, so that our investments are so guaranteed. We must know what's going to happen. So far, so very good. So thank you. No, I was not ready yet. No. This was only half the presentation. You gave me 2 hours to start with. Okay, sorry. No, I will not go on for 2 hours. Sorry. Another thing which I think we need to work on, all of us. I was asked to move to Pakistan a year and a half ago, and I was delighted. And the common comment from my friends back in well-educated Sweden was, "Are you crazy? Are you going to move to Pakistan?" And this is one of the key things I think we need, all of us, to address, is the perception of Pakistan all around the world. To me, we can jointly do something fantastic together, but we need to work on this because the perception is lack of knowledge. So when I came back from my first scouting trip, I was very intrigued and very impressed by Pakistan. And I told the story about Pakistan, and people started slowly to get interested. But I think we all need to work on the perception of Pakistan if we, and I think we do, want foreign investors. They have to feel a certain amount of eagerness and interest and keenness to get into Pakistan, because at this point of time, there's a little bit of hesitancy, unfortunately. I would like to commend all of you for having helped us so much. I will not go through all this because it's going to be a little bit too long then. We have been getting harmonized and simplified tax incentives. And this, I think, also is crucial. Apart from the perception of Pakistan, I think this is very important, that we have a harmonized, easy, accessible tax system, a law system or a legal structure where we can easily understand and see what is going to happen. That's another very important thing. Ease of doing business is, of course, we have all mentioned this. We have all mentioned this, all of us, that the ease of doing business is what matters. It's important that we have 220 million people. It's important that we can do exports out of Pakistan. But the most important thing is that we must have an ease of doing business. Now I have only 1 hour left on my presentation. No, this was actually it. So I want to thank you for inviting us here. It's been a true pleasure to come here. And I hope that all of you who have been thinking about investing into Pakistan, take the opportunity. I would like to welcome all of you, especially the ones I met before, to visit our plant in Sundar. And hopefully we can join forces and get more investors in. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And after listening to your presentation, Peter, I think we have a lot more to talk about than just the pronunciation of your name. You'd be happy to know, and so the audience as well, that NUST has an entire office dedicated to sustainability with the name of Nustainable. And we also have some of the best graduates and skilled workforce that you can find, and lots of other investment opportunities. So we definitely need to have a chat afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, aviation industry is one of the key developing industries in Pakistan. As I mentioned before, Pakistan also exports trainer aircrafts, and there's an increasing opportunity for investment in areas such as maintenance and aircraft overhauling. For this, we have Mr. Tanveer Ahmed, who is the CEO, MRO Aviation Pakistan, who will now deliver his presentation on Zoom on investment proposal on aviation sector.
Assalamu alaikum, gentlemen. Can you see the slides on the screen?
Yes,
Hello?
we can. Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much. My name is Tanveer Ahmed. I'm CEO of Aviation MRO Private Limited. I just returned from Dubai Air Show about 10 days ago, and I had everything valid. This time again, I wanted to go to Dubai for this presentation. And surprisingly, I was asked by the Dubai immigration people to send a new picture. And that's why my visa got delayed. And then there were 3 days holidays, so I couldn't make it to Dubai. But in that process, I'm grateful to the Dubai government because I'm $2,000 richer. As if I had traveled, I would have spent that much money. Thank you very much. I will now start with my presentation. This is on aviation engineering complex project that I have. And I want to start in camera. To start, I'd like to say a few words of acknowledgement to Allah Almighty, and then to many organizations like Pakistan Air Force, PSC Camera, Iowa State University, from where I graduated, and then also to some individuals, particularly to the Pakistan Aerospace Council. I'm one of the executive members of that Aerospace Council, who have helped me to reach this stage. Many companies and individuals, my team people, and of course, finally, to the Board of Investment, the Government of Pakistan, for affording me this opportunity to present my dream project, on which I've been working for 10 years. And my aim is to actually seek investment for the next phase of my project. A small introduction about my company. We started doing business in the year 2008 when I retired from Pakistan Air Force. I'm an aerospace engineer. And my company actually deals with aerospace raw materials, electrical connectors, accessories, components. And we also do some of the MRO work, mainly through outsourcing. And the current project is aimed at setting the same facility in Pakistan. We have offices in USA, Canada, as well as in Pakistan. And we have done contracts worth over $13 million, out of which we have delivered $10 million worth of stores and services to our customers, which is mainly PSC Camera. And we have some retired people who are highly skilled, young still because they retired at the age of 42, most of the technicians that I have and officers at the age of 45. So these are the people which I have in these three companies which were set up in the three countries. Small introduction from starting in 2007, and then we have launched Aviation MRO in 2008, moved on. Just a moment. Oh, my apologies for this introduction. And we have done some work on this new project. And this work actually started with the land of the aviation engineering complex in 2014. And then we're moving forward. We are today ready with the drawings and everything. And we hope that we can have enough investments to start the project very soon. Okay, again. Pakistan offers huge potential in the aerospace and defense sector. And the strengths of and the opportunities that we offer from Pakistan are, we have a lot of highly capable, disciplined, and experienced human resource. At this moment, almost 500,000 technicians and engineers, and they are available, the services are available at very low cost compared with the rest of the developed world. We have a lot of investment in the public sector, around $50 billion plus, which is all around Rawalpindi, Islamabad area. And then we have spare capacity in most of the public sector units, which are providing the aviation-related services. The opportunities which this sector offers and which Pakistan offers are, of course, the very high growth rate which we were experiencing prior to the COVID-19. We had overall 10% growth rate in the sector, and Middle East and this region had the highest growth rate, almost 20%. The entire aerospace industry actually relies on exports and manufacturing and through outsourcing. And then private companies, we believe, can benefit from economical use of the spare capacity. That because this is such an equation over here that most of the investments in this high-tech sector have gone into the public sector. So the private sector companies can perform equally good are basically short of cash, and that is why we have some limitation. But the public sector companies are almost all of them are now seeking commercial ventures, and they have spare capacity which we can utilize for our benefit. Now, to my project, the Aviation Engineering Complex. The concept is based on economical use of the spare capacity of PSC Camera. I'm relying mostly on Camera because this happens to be probably the fourth largest aerospace industry in the world, and it has got huge untapped potential in the form of exports. So we believe that by combining with them, we can have some export-related orders as well as some MRO work through export and re-import process. We prepared the business plan of Aviation Engineering Complex. We acquired the desired land project planning has been completed, and all architectural and structural drawings have been fully developed. This project is situated very close to the Kamra complex itself. We are now in the process of registering in the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. We have, in this unit, the aviation engineering complex, there will be 5 independent units, while AEC itself will be the 6th unit, providing some central services to the 5 business units. And infrastructure development by AEC and operations through investment partners is our basic model. These are the 5 units that we plan to establish when this is fully commissioned. MRO setup, supply chain services, aircraft contract assembly, harnesses and testers, and ground support equipment manufacturing, consultancy and training. We are already doing a little bit in everything in these areas. We have some proposals also from different, like in contract assembly, we have a proposal with us. And then, of course, in the harness and the testers, we also have some half commitments from some of the OEMs who are willing to come and invest in this project. Why are we doing that? Oh. Why aviation MRO? We have actually some advantages where we have actually gone from with the help of our team. The biggest advantage that we offer is the experienced team which we have. And our team, all team members, mostly have worked with the 4 factories of PSC Kamra in professional assignments as well as in the senior management positions. We are working with PSC Kamra since 2009, and in that process, we know Kamra, its strengths as well as its inherent weaknesses from a very close angle. Aviation MRO then provided the seed money for this project, and with the help of that seed money, which is almost $500,000 till date, we have been able to acquire the land, prepare the planning, and also the design part. Everything was done with the help of the money that we earned at the platform of Aviation MRO Private Limited, and we used that to come this far. And as I said, one of our strengths is that we understand PSC Kamra. I always say we probably understand them more than the PSC itself, because we have seen them from 2 angles of, first of all, working inside Kamra, and then, of course, we are also now working with them as a business partner for the last over 10 years. This is a brief pictorial view of the project that we are going to make. It has got 38 canals, or maybe almost 5 acres of land. And the total covered area in the project will be 125 square feet. Like most aerospace projects, this will be horizontally developed, horizontally laid out project, which will not much vertical growth. And we have part of it is dedicated to residential buildings also for the men as well as for the officers and the engineers. But then the main thrust is on the technical area, which has a hangar to house the 5 business units. And then it also has some staff accommodation, executive block, and then the business offices, workshops, as well as a clubhouse and some other residential facilities. We understand that going through this project will not be easy. There are certain challenges. And number 1 challenge right now is the infrastructure development. It has high cost element. For us, this is high cost, almost you can say $7 million, which we need for the infrastructure development. And then the biggest, of course, problem with the aerospace industry is that we have to go for the quality certification. We are very conscious of this, and we hope that we will ultimately get CA Pakistan certification, EASA or FAA, and also the OEMs, which are basically the products for which we got the original equipment manufacturers. We are working on getting their certifications. And one of the OEMs is actually Kamra itself, when it comes to Super Mashal aircraft. So we are already working, we will work with them, in fact, to get their certification when it comes to the MRO work and the manufacturing part. Of course, then the third challenge that we face is the reliance on foreign orders and the value addition that we're going to make. And then because we're seeking some investment over here also, so we will actually be working on some commercial basis to get some investment model going ahead for the AEC. The strategy that we have is a very cost-effective and smart strategy to us. We want to be an active member of Aviation City. Aviation City actually is a new project in Pakistan, which was launched later than when we got our land over there in Kamra. And we want to have very limited investment in the infrastructure as well as in the technical tools and testers and the capability, because our model basically relies on using the spare capacity of PSC Kamra. Establish AEC as a certified A&E company in manufacturing and MRO and contract assembly areas. We want to rely on utilizing the spare capacity of PSC Kamra. Also, other members of Pakistan Aerospace Council, which are the private companies and which have the capability to support our mission. The two most common weaknesses in the public sector of Pakistan, or for that matter, I think in any other country, are the financial processes and the procurement procedures. These are the biggest hurdles, and we actually have experience to overcome the procurement procedures because of our being an indenting company for so long. And also the financial processes, we can take far quicker decisions. So these are the two weaknesses that we want to overcome. And we know actually because of our inside knowledge of PSC Kamra, working over there, and then also doing business with them, we know how to overcome those processes. And contribute towards national economy and job creation, of course. At this stage, we envisage 43 jobs in aviation engineering complex and almost $6 million worth of business every year in the first 3 years. The business management model, all civil works in this complex will be owned by Aviation Engineering Complex itself. And the CEOs of all business units will be on AEC's board of directors, and they'll take the collective decisions on how to manage and run this complex. The board will manage the common issues related to entire complex, while all business units will be completely autonomous and financially independent. There will be no central control of any unit, central AEC itself on the businesses will be completely autonomous and independent. Each unit may, however, require some central services from AEC as a preferred customer, because when we deal within the 6 companies, we'll have some preferred treatment for these, reserved for these partners. And of course, the main purpose of today's presentation was seeking investment. And then I have prepared this slide for the investment model. As an independent business unit itself, AEC would develop infrastructure and engage with investors for the same. We are already working on this, and the acquisition of land, business planning, security wall, and then a partial development, which is already taking place, is actually part of that effort. AEC would provide common services to the 5 business units. Companies with aerospace and defense background would be preferred as long-term business partners. We know that many companies who visit PSC Kamra are usually impressed by its technical capabilities. But doing business with them is a lot more difficult because of the 2 limitations when it comes to financials and the procurement procedures. So we are looking for actually those, preferably those business partners who are already in this sector and they can appreciate the strengths of Pakistan aviation and defense sector. For the duration of association with AEC, the participating companies will be required to pay some royalty to us because we work as a one unit, and the investment and partnership modalities will be worked on case-to-case basis. I'm really a novice in this area. I must admit I have no experience of ever having sought the investment into any project. But I've reached this stage after a lot of efforts, and this is where actually I want you people, or whosoever can actually come up with sincere intentions to work with us, and then we can move forward on this investment side. That's all from main presentation. I have some supporting slides. I will leave it for the Board of Investment Management. If somebody is interested and have the details of all the 5 units later on. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tanveer Ahmed, for that presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite Mr. Naveed Nasir, CEO of Sapstech Canada, for his presentation on investment proposal for lithium-ion cells and battery manufacturing facility in Pakistan. He will also be presenting through Zoom.
So I cannot share my screen. Okay, now I can do that. Just a minute. So I'm sure you're seeing my presentation.
Unfortunately, we are not. Okay, we are now. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. All right. So, Assalamualaikum. I'm Naveed Nadeer, CEO of Substack Inc. And I would like to talk about setting up lithium-ion cell and battery manufacturing facilities in Pakistan. So, Dr. Ali Al-Naimi, who was a Saudi oil minister, once remarked that Stone Age didn't end because we ran out of stones. So it so happens right now that oil is on its way out as well, because the global warming is pushing displaceable fossil out of use. And every country has made a commitment to help heal the climate of the world. Pakistan is very vulnerable to it. And we are not only vulnerable because we have a fifth season now called smog, with a lot of pollutants hanging up in the air, and our air quality index is routinely over 160. But also we have an unbearable oil import bill to support all the two-wheelers which are being produced in the country and they are used on a daily basis. So lithium is the new oil. This will not only power mobility, but it will also be used to store intermittent energy generation mechanisms like windmill, solar energy, and then that energy is released upon demand, either to balance the load on the grid or to power the critical infrastructure. Now, the next question becomes, why lithium? Why not any other technology of battery? So lithium is 4 times smaller and 6 times lighter in weight than the lead acid battery, which is presently used in automobiles. And then we have too many variations of chemistry. Each variation of lithium chemistry is optimized for different applications. If you need more power, or do you want to store more energy? Do you need longer life, or you want to have reduced cost? All these factors can be optimized, and we can switch over to one chemistry or the other. The lithium-ion battery market has been growing at an average rate of 17% CAGR for the last 10 years, and it is projected to explode because the demand for electric vehicles is coming into play. So all countries in the world have made a commitment to ban the use of fossil fuels or gasoline engines by 2035, by 2030 or 2040 at the latest. And that is going to create a huge demand for lithium-ion batteries. And Pakistan, as you know, has announced an EV policy, which on the left, I'm giving you an overview. We plan to have 30% of new vehicles sold to be battery electric by 2030, and by 2040, 90% of all vehicles sold would be battery electric. And that translates into a demand for 300 gigawatt hour per year by 2030. And by 2040, it could go up to 2,000 gigawatt hour. So by the way, today, the present consumption of lithium-ion batteries is something like 320 gigawatt hour. So one country, we will be adding a minuscule demand to the overall thing which is happening, because there are too many projects announced in the world to increase the capacity of lithium-ion battery production. So lithium-ion battery represents an opportunity in Pakistan because of the coming in electric vehicles, and they represent 50 to 60% of the cost of an electric vehicle. So if we can produce these batteries and battery cells locally, then we can retain the 50% of the capital spend within the country. So what we want to do is we want to produce lithium-ion cells in Pakistan for local markets and export markets. And then using those cells, we are going to produce customized battery packs targeted for different EV manufacturers, like rickshaw manufacturers, two-wheelers, or cars and buses. And then we will also be providing energy storage solutions to balance out or streamline the generation of, all these intermittent renewable energy sources. So the advantage of setting it up in Pakistan is that we have proximity to large lithium deposits. There's a global scarcity of lithium battery materials predicted, and if we can set up our own local supply chain, that will relieve us from those pressures.
And then there is a favorable tax regime today. We have a lot of educated young people, and it is going to create a lot of jobs. And we also have a potential to export in the high-value global electric vehicle supply chain. So as I alluded, we are sitting in a region which is rich in lithium and other battery materials. So Afghanistan is, the U.S. Geological Survey has established that there are reserves in Afghanistan which are larger than those in Bolivia. So if we are to set that local supply chain up, we should be able to take advantage of the prices and be competitive. So what we want to do is set up a 3 gigawatt hour per year plant, and we have already acquired the technology. We are ready to say, we have identified the piece of land where it will go. We need about 24 acres of land. And you can see a glimpse of what the battery cell manufacturing facility would look like on the left. And on the bottom right, I'm showing you the battery assembly pack, where we take those cells and put them into customized battery packs for different applications. So it is a capital-intensive business, but before I get into that, I just want to highlight that we are starting out by doing what is in green, because subs is green in Urdu. So everything that you see in green is what we plan to do initially: manufacture the cells and then pack them assemble them into packs using third-party battery management systems, and also integrating them with voltage inverters and battery chargers to create a customized solution targeted for different applications. We will be doing direct sales to customers. We will have our own customer support unit, and we have also have letter of purchase intent from many distributors in Pakistan who are eagerly waiting for us to start producing. And on the right, you are seeing the customer universe. So as I alluded, it is a very capital-intensive project. McKinsey and Company has determined that a larger plants like 8 gigawatt hour or larger in facility on the average spend something like $120 million per gigawatt hour in capacity. So since we plan to do 3 gigawatt hour to keep it economical, otherwise a smaller plant will not be economically viable and will not be profitable at all. So we want a self-sustaining solution. So we are looking to raise something like $350 million. And then by phase 3, the project will be expanded to produce 50 gigawatt hour or more. And for those things, we can get taken some financing, or we would also be looking at setting up a franchising facility. So if we build a franchise network with our partners located in different parts of the world, then they can leverage our supply chain strength and be able to produce and deliver in the local markets. So, and what we are also going to do is, since we plan to start producing battery cells, this is going to create a demand for all the other supply chain vendors to come in and set up shop close to us, starting from, say, raw material mining to refining and preparation of the cathode, anode material, and everything. So we have assembled a very mature team. Who you are seeing on the top, Moiz and Dr. Manish, they are lithium battery experts. And we also have Sabat, who is lithium expert. We have business people here. Javed is one of the senior executives who are retired from a known organization in Pakistan. So is Amjad, so has Khalid expert. So all these people, they are my ex-colleagues when we were working back in Pakistan. So I have full trust and faith in them, and they are all eager to get going. So to summarize, we are raising a first tranche of $20 million today so that we can get started, buy the land, set up the infrastructure, put everything together, and then work towards $350 million in financing. So, and with that, I think I can stop. And I really if you have any questions, let me know. My contact information is up here, naveed@subtech.com. And we really need to work together to make it happen, because this is a critical part of the supply chain for upcoming EVs, not only in Pakistan, but in the rest of the world as well. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, Pakistan's government has shifted its focus towards digitization and building a knowledge economy. Multiple concerned ministries, regulatory bodies, ad hoc committees, and task forces are working hard to facilitate digital transformation within Pakistan. With over 64% of Pakistan's population being under the age of 30, there is an enormous potential for successful digital adoption. Ladies and gentlemen, our last speaker, Mr. Rahman Qamar, Director Projects, National Database and Registration Authority, Pakistan, will be presenting on digital and paperless economy. He will also be presenting online.
Thank you very much. Good evening. It must be evening in Dubai. My name is Rahman Qamar. I'm Director Projects in National Database and Registration Authority. Indeed, it's a pleasure, an honor, and privilege to be part of this forum and present on behalf of NADRA. Today's topic of my presentation is promoting digital and paperless economy. But please forgive me, I have changed it a little bit as NADRA Catalyst for Digital Pakistan. That is the vision NADRA's chairman, Mr. Tariq Malik, has brought with him on assuming the charge as chairman 3 months back. I wish I could have been there could have been there to present in person, but thanks to technology that enabled me to still remain the part of this event and present online. Today, I've been given a slot of 10 minutes. I would try my best to showcase and highlight the initiatives that have been taken by NADRA with Government of Pakistan to realize the vision of digital Pakistan and moving towards paperless economy. Before I dive into my presentation and discuss the different initiatives, I would like to give a glimpse of NADRA through the lens of numbers. NADRA is the leading ID organization in Pakistan. We are almost 19,000 employee company with 751 registration centers that include 10 centers overseas. We have also established 10 mega centers that are operational 24/7 for the facilitation of the general public. For all those who cannot visit our registration center, we provided them with door-to-door service through our mobile registration van. For this purpose, 214 mobile registration vans are operational nationwide. We do have 3 data centers, more than 1,000 servers, and most importantly, 41 active projects for other government departments. These 41 projects are all that are directly or indirectly contributing towards the realization of digital Pakistan. We started in 1973 with the plastic-based ID card. Later in 2002, it was realized that the proper national database is required that can be used as a single point of truth, having unique identifiers to help Government of Pakistan in designing any national programs.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we are unable to see your presentation.
Oh, that is interesting. Because I have shared my presentation and it's there. Let me share it again. Can you share it? Can you see it now?
No, we cannot.
Oh. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me share it again. How about now?
Unfortunately, it's still a no.
That's so annoying. Let me see. Can you see me now?
No, we cannot. If you don't mind, you can continue as is. Okay, we can see it now. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. I believe I have covered the slides.
You can just please say next when you want to change the slides because we'll be running them directly from here. So I'll follow your cue.
All right. All right. Right now, I am in transforming national ID of Pakistan.
Right, we're there, sir. You can continue.
Okay. We started in 1973 with the plastic-based ID card. Later in 2002, it was realized that a proper national database is required that can be used as a single point of truth, having unique identifiers to help Government of Pakistan in designing any national programs. In 2008, this database was further strengthened by introducing the multi-biometrics. Pakistan is amongst very few countries that holds a database with multi-biometric. Currently, we are acquiring facial and fingerprints in national database. In 2002, we achieved a major milestone by introducing a chip-based smart card. This smart card is being used as a single instrument to run multiple verticals of program, be it a social safety program or e-governance programs. Continuous growth is not limited to smart card only. Rather, we are striving for a digital ID. The year 2022 would be the year we would move towards digital ID. The concept is, why to carry a plastic-based ID documents in your wallet, whereas you can have your digital ID in your digital wallet? Next slide, please. So far, we have issued 182 million identities. That includes issuance of ID cards to adults, population, and child registration certificates to minors. As I presented earlier, that currently we are acquiring facial and fingerprints. So far, we have acquired 131 million facial images and 1.2 billion fingerprints in national database, and now striving towards introducing iris as well. Next slide, please. I would like to highlight here that over the period of last few years, NADRA has sharpened its sail, and it is indeed a proud moment for NADRA and Pakistan that NADRA has been able to get international projects on competitive bidding. We are working with Government of Kenya for their machine-readable passport and e-passport system, Government of Sudan, where we have completely revamped their civil registration system. We have done national ID management system for Government of Nigeria, readmission cases for European Union, election management system for Government of Fiji. We are in a process of designing national ID management for Government of Somalia. And lastly, we have delivered driving license for Government of Bangladesh. Due to time constraints, I will not go into details of each project, but just to highlight that all these projects are delivered successfully. These projects are not only feathers in NADRA's cap, but have also brought good name to our country, Pakistan. Now, I would like to give a little glimpse of key national projects. Next slide, please. All these projects are dynamic IT interventions in the areas of e-governance, social protection, ID management, security and access control systems for improved service delivery and directly contributes toward realization of digital Pakistan. Next slide, please. Again, I will not go into details of each project. Rather, I would showcase 2 or 3 very recent projects of NADRA that highlights how digitization and paperless economy is bringing ease and convenience in the lives of general public and improved service delivery. Next slide, please. Pak Identity. The first project I would like to discuss is the revamping of Pak ID application. This service is for all Pakistanis living overseas. In order to facilitate and bring ease and convenience to the Pak Identity app, has been revamped completely. Previously, whenever any Pakistani living overseas requires NICOP or POC, they were required to apply online. But there was a cumbersome requirement for provisioning of biometrics. The individual was required to download and print a standardized performa that is to be used to affix all 10 fingerprints using the ink pads, scan it, and then upload into the system. It was really a cumbersome process. Some of the applicants even reported that ink pads have been obsoleted and they are having difficulty even to find them in their country. Now with the revamp of this application, the applicant can take a photograph with the mobile phone and can also take the biometrics using the same mobile camera through NADRA's Pak ID app. This application is smart enough to detect, scan, and upload the biometrics on a single click. Next slide, please. Using the same technology to acquire biometrics, NADRA is in a process of onboarding the other stakeholders like bank, telcos, law enforcement agencies, and other government entities, which by law are required to carry out biometric verifications before any proceeding. For example, in Pakistan, banks and telcos are bound by law to carry out biometric verification of the applicant before account is opened or any SIM is issued. Currently, on average, 0.7 million biometric verifications are carried out in one day nationwide. Imagine using the same technology as used in Pak IT app and digitally onboarding all these entities will reduce the visit of 0.7 million individuals in a day, which ultimately improve the service delivery and promote the paperless economy. Next slide, please. The second project I would like to highlight is the Asas Emergency Cash Program. Government of Pakistan recently concluded this emergency cash program for those affected by COVID restrictions. This program was initiated on emergency basis, where a cash grant of rupees 12,000 was given to the eligible families. Nadra designed that system where almost 165 million requests received in this program. 14.8 million beneficiaries were served and around rupees 180 billion was disbursed. This was an end-to-end system equipped with an intelligent algorithms, keeping in mind the convenience for the participating individual. On one hand, it was of paramount importance that the applicant need not to visit any office for their registration and processing of application. And on the other hand, system should be simple enough that can be easily operatable by any illiterate individual as well. This Nadra design system was complex enough at the back end, yet simple enough at the front end for user. The applicant was just required to send ID number on a designated shortcode through SMS, and that's it. The system at the back end was intelligent enough to register the applicant, apply all the business rules on a real-time basis, and inform the applicant through return SMS about their eligibility. In order to ensure transparency, BioVerisys solution developed by Nadra was deployed with financial institutions to validate the applicants through biometrics before cash is disbursed. This project truly depicts the digital transformation that bring ease and convenience in service delivery and transparency in the system. Next slide, please. It would not be out of place to discuss national immunization system designed by Nadra for Government of Pakistan. This system will become the national immunization registry in future, but for the time being, this system is being used to register, administer, and issuance of COVID vaccine certificates. So far, 123 million COVID vaccine doses have been administered using this system. Again, the system has been designed to improve the service delivery and ease and convenience to general public. To participate in the program, an individual just need to send ID number through SMS on a designated shortcode. The system will register the request and issue appointment through return SMS. The system also allows to log the vaccine administration instances and finally issuance of electronic certificate that can be made part of their digital wallets. A complete immunization registry is being managed at the back end. If you can see the QR code that is embedded onto the certificate, this QR code can be scanned to validate and ascertain the genuineness of the issued certificate. There are so many other interesting projects that can be highlighted that can be highlighted here, but due to time constraint. But I hope the projects that are presented here do give a feel about the capacity and capability of Nadra and the efforts that are being made to realize the vision of digital Pakistan. I would also like to take the opportunity from this forum to please leverage Nadra's strength and collaborate with Nadra in any technological initiative within Pakistan and outside Pakistan for mutual benefits. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, all of you for being a part of our seminar today and for taking so much of your precious time out for us. If there are any questions that you would like to ask our esteemed panelists, please feel free to do so now.
Check. Right. Okay. Thank you all for the presentations. My question is for the Madam Secretary. I just wanted to ask you the questions regarding the special economic zones. And the question is, can I, as an investor, buy a land for manufacturing purposes online in the special economic zone?
Yes. Definitely. We have launched an online portal. The entire purpose is to make it easy for the overseas investors to invest in the special economic zones. Whenever you log in, you will be given three options. Whichever special economic zone you choose to, when you click on that button, then you will be shown a map. And on that map, you will be shown all the plots that are available and that have not been sold. So you will give your option 1, 2, 3 in terms of priority, and then there is a 5-member committee which decides on which land to allow. In case there are other investors who are interested in the same plot, it will make a decision, and then you will be allotted a plot. So there is a process of filling in the form, the application, and you will have to say how much investment you will be bringing in, how much how soon can you start, and what exactly is the nature of your project. And you can definitely, in case you have an issue of filling in the form, our team is there, a very dedicated team. We will help you in filling the online form.
Great, understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yes, ma'am. The question is to you, ma'am. When is this CPAC going real live? And when do you think Gwadar Port will get ready? Can we get a little bit highlight on that?
Yes. There is a Gwadar free zone. It is not a special economic zone under the Special Economic Zones Act. It is a free port, which is a G2G arrangement and agreement between the government of China and the government of Pakistan. But then again, it's free to all investors. The first phase of the project is been, I think it's over. It's fully populated, and the second phase is now being offered to the investors. So the project is in full swing. The Gwadar port is running, and the China Port Holding Company, which is the developer, is taking the project under. And the other special economic zones under CPAC, 2 are up and about. One is Allama Iqbal in Faisalabad, and the other one is Rashakai, a special economic zone in KP province. So these 2 are running. Even the Dhabeji economic zone is special economic zone under CPAC in the Sindh province. The bidding process has been finalized. The developer has been finalized, but there's some litigation involved. But that too is definitely going to be over soon. And that is also already. And the one in Balochistan is also ready. So these 4, one in each province under the CPEC, are ready for the investors.
But as a Gwadar Port, my question is, when do you think Gwadar Port itself will be up and running the way we are hearing about it? That CPEC and Gwadar Port, full-fledged.
I am not very sure.
Zones.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is traffic, how much traffic it is already entertaining. But we will get that information from the relevant authorities, because it's not an economic zone which is being run by the Board of Investment. So, yeah.
Are there more questions?
Yes, good evening. I'm asking, please, is there any arrangements in place between BOI and the local or international banks to introduce the newcomers, or at least help? Because, as you invest, banks will come into picture sooner or later. So is there any arrangement between BOI and the banks?
You see, the Board of Investment is a facilitation for the local and foreign investors in all affairs. So we do not have any special arrangement with any special bank, but we do facilitate in filling in the applications, when facilitating in any way that we can in terms of any regulatory or other requirement from any agency of the government.
Are there any more questions? All right, I think that will be all. Thank you very much once again, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us tonight. You may proceed towards dinner. When you exit the hall, you will go left, cross the hall, and there will be a door on your left. And you will see Dabat, which is where you will be having dinner and experiencing some great Pakistani cuisine, which I hope you all will enjoy. Thank you once again for being with us, and hopefully this discussion will be taken forward into tangible actions from our side and also yours. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen.